Hello everyone. I guess I'm online now. Hello and thank you very much for participating in this stream. Today is of course 26th of June. Now it's 9 o'clock in the evening Moscow time. I'm Levan Gudadze and this is traditional at this point Wednesday live stream. Community chat basically, although of course during the stream I will share with you some news and of course I will be engaged in the chat, and if I see questions I will try to answer to those questions. If I receive questions through PayPal, Boosty, or I will definitely give my best shot to be informative in their answer. And before I start, let me thank her to Nenad for donation, also Jocelyn and A look through. Nenad and Jocelyn yesterday and today I believe donated to the channel. Very grateful for that. Thank you very much. And A look through donated through Boosty today. No questions, although there was no questions. So that's been said. I guess I can start this stream. Just a sec to prepare stuff here, and yes, I guess everything is working. And yes, once again, hello everyone. Thank you all for your attention, and of course many thanks to all the members of our community who will join later on or will watch this stream in recording. And yes, so much to unpack really. There's plenty of news. Obviously today I didn't make a news update because in the morning I published an interview with Alex Duran, host of Duran, of course, and I didn't want to overload channel with the video because this evening I had to make live stream, and yes, when it comes to interview, dear friends, I guess at least some of you are interested how I met Alex, how interview went, some details, you know. And first of all, let me say that I'm not Michael. I read hundreds of comments under the video, under the interview with Alex, and some people thought that I was the person that interacted with Alex yesterday when he was recording his update. It was not me for sure. I had you know, of course, I contacted Alex a few days ago. I asked for an interview, and he was very kind to find time for an interview. Once again, I mean, what a legend! I mean, really, I met him in person, and I already had I already know that he will be genuine and great person. And that's exactly their impression. You know, even though he is one of the biggest names in the game, he is a very kind, you know, real gentleman, open for discussion, for ideas. And yesterday, by the way, and of course let me also say that, by the way, this is a tradition that they're keeping in Duran. Alex and Alexander, they are helping small channels. Veterans of our community know that I was invited on Duran when our community was around 10-15,000, I think. And I was surprised then, and I'm still surprised. And I told this to Alex, you know, that I'm still surprised that you invited. And they also participated in my program on my channel when I invited them. So they are always helping small channels. They are very great to community. to community. They are supporting everyone. So yes, I mean, I cannot even express how grateful I am for Duran, for Alex and Alexander. And as I said, man, Alex is, I mean, what a legend. What a legend, really. I mean, and yesterday, I'll give you some information. So we have to meet with Alex, and there was daylight, you know. Now it's rain. After 5 minutes, it's not raining. Then rain again, and I mean, weather was you know, not stable. And I was worrying about it because if it rains, then we have to go to some building somewhere and make video there. And I didn't want it. I wanted to make video outside because it's, after all, still that Alex does interviews and this walk and talk type of videos. And when we met and we, you know, we agreed to go to one square not far away from area that we met. But unfortunately, we had to pass square at some point, and it was blocked. There was some event taking place, and we have to go find some other place where it's quiet enough so that a sound would be okay. Then rain came, and by the way, I asked Alex initially about time, of course, because I mean, we all know how busy he is, and therefore I was nervous a little when we were in a situation that we have to find another place. I get even more nervous. Then finally we went to that square where we made video, and my microphone didn't work initially. I have no idea what I did with the microphone, but it started working. But I get even more nervous because now I'm thinking that I mean, I'm taking too much time. There's some issues with the equipment. I mean, this thing is not going well. And I was already on the nerves, and but we start making videos. Eventually, microphone start working, and we recorded video. Then we went for a little walk and conversation, exchange of opinions. Of course, it's a great opportunity to you know, listen to Alex. He's sharing experience. He may give you some tips. As I said, man, Alex and Alexander, they are on top of the game. So of course you're gonna use opportunity to you know, receive some recommendations maybe or tips so that you can further improve your work. And yes, we had great conversation. And when I went for Dmitrov, when I came home, I was nervous, by the way, because I was thinking maybe I messed up big time with an interview. And when I went to train, I start you know, watching this video, and of course camera work, well, my bad. I definitely need to improve my skills when it comes to work with camera, because when we take seat in that square, I did not notice at the time that sun was directly behind us, and it was shining on the camera, and therefore of course quality of the picture may not be as I would prefer, but conversation itself was interesting in my opinion. Of course it would be interesting because it's Alexis speaking. So, and when I watched this video and I come down a little bit, I said, you know what, okay, I may messed up, but not critically, so it's okay. But yet again, I'm extremely grateful to Alex, to Alexander. I mean, Duran is a great team. They are really supportive of community, and well, I mean, very grateful. So that's a little story behind that interview. And I'm definitely not that Michael that interrupted him yesterday when he was recording the video. I don't know why people thought that I was that guy. Because after all, that guy was quite clear that his name is Michael, Mikhail, or Misha, and I'm Levan. But anyways, that's the story. And by the way, video is doing quite okay. I'm glad that video is doing quite okay. I mean, it's already 34,000 views. This interview definitely will be among the most viewed videos on the channel. And hundreds of comments, by the way. I went through hundreds of those comments and tried to react on all of it. And very kind comments, by the way. So I'm very grateful to you all and to our community for kindness. 99% of the comments are extremely kind, and we once again prove that maybe we are a tiny community, but very friendly. As I always saying to new members of our community, and I will use this opportunity and I will welcome all the new members. Thanks to Alex and this interview, we have more than 500 new members in the community, so I welcome all of them in our tiny and very friendly community. I hope they will stay. I hope they will stay, and my news updates, they will find my news updates interesting. So they all are welcome, of course. That's been said. Well, let's check if there is questions. Yes, I can see questions. And then, of course, I will go through some news also. So, first of all, Bad Wolf is asking, is there change in their mood in Russia after the Sevastopol attack? From the outside, it seems like Russians are losing patience. Well, of course, many people, by the way, as I commented straight away when that tragedy happened, when Kiev regime struck the beach, and many of you probably seen this video when these cluster munitions are exploding on a beach, on the seaside, sea itself, and on the beach, as a result of which more than 100 people were wounded and 4 civilians were killed, unfortunately. And of course, people were very angry and still very angry on this. And I mean, I don't have studies in my hands, sir. Maybe there was some studies conducted like yesterday or day before, but I can give you informed guess that significant number of public is definitely sick and tired of this terrorism of the Kiev regime and their Western backers. That's for sure. But yet again, people have trust in government. Just about like 2 weeks ago, there was a study, and Putin has approval rating around 80%. So therefore, I guess people trust leader, and therefore people know that. I mean, we don't have all the information. You know, when we are emotional, we may start demanding to do this and that, but that's emotional stuff, and emotions never good advisors, especially in difficult, critical situations. And therefore, society is, trusting government, and there is belief that whatever is the right way to go will be chosen by government, by leadership of country. So therefore, yes, there is anger, but also there is trust in leadership, and hope that all the right decisions will be made. But yet again, I mean, as I said, emotions are running high time to time, especially when tragedy happens, like in Sevastopol, quite understandably so. But you cannot act on emotions. Leaders of the countries, especially nuclear superpowers, they have no right to act on emotions. They just cannot. They have to be, they have to be very strong, by the way. It's a tough job. I mean, would you want to be president of Russia? I definitely don't. Because can you imagine level of stress, by the way, that you will experience on daily basis? It's just unimaginable, though. I truly cannot imagine level of stress that presidency of the countries like Russia is demanding. It's a tough job, though. Also, Yaroslav Pelicek is asking, I have a question. What about the Terminators? They were successful in Syria, but in there enough of them in the conflict? Maybe it's difficult to produce them in large quantities. Well, if some members of our community don't know what Terminator is, it's a heavily armored military vehicle for support of the tank formations. Many of you probably see it has two cannons, two 30mm cannons, I believe, that are also on BMP-2, and they are quite effective. There's so many videos on internet, isn't it, that Terminators were used, but in this times when drone warfare is influencing situation on the battlefield quite significantly, I mean, even tanks are no longer playing that much of a role, as many experts were probably hoping for or were thinking that tanks will do. And even though Terminator is based on tank, by the way, tank chassis, it's a tank body, and there is just a turret is different. But still, drone warfare is changing everything. It's a game changer, clearly, and therefore maybe in military terms there is no need to deploy like hundreds of those Terminators on the battlefield. Who knows? It's a specific question, and only militaries on the front line can really give you answer about Terminators. I believe there are enough quantities of those Terminators, but maybe BMP-2 or BMP-3 will do the job no less than Terminator will. And same time, BMP-2 and BMP-3 is personal carriers, so they might be even more effective in some cases. So this is a quite specific question that better some military experts to give you answer. But my understanding is that there is a quantity there, but I cannot know if it is that necessary to bring a high number of these Terminators on the battlefield. Like, for example, we clearly see that there is high demand on TOS-1A heavy flamethrower system, isn't it? Soltsenpyok, for example, Buratino or Soltsenpyok. And there is a third generation of those weapons that can launch missiles with thermobaric warheads, even for far distances. There is definitely demand on these systems. They are extremely powerful and devastating for the enemies, whoever is on receiving side of those systems. There is demand still on the tanks, of course, but in this conflict we clearly see that lightly armored vehicles are starting to play much significant role. Buggies, motorcycles, for example. We see quite a number of Russian offensives when Russian forces were establishing control over the strongholds by moving to those, getting close to the stronghold on the motorcycles. So, armies are adapting to the situation, and maybe these buggies and motorcycles will be much more useful, and maybe they are much more useful than some heavily armored vehicles. But yet again, this is after this conflict will end, I guess military experts, scientists in this field will work hard to study all the details, all the information that will be available to analyze it and come up with some new tactics or strategies. And also Yaroslav Pelecek is asking, I have a second question. My pro-Ukrainian brother said that in the vicinity of the beach is an airfield in Crimea, in Sevastopol, where this attack happened. That's what you mean, I guess. He even shown some photos from the Google map. Can you reboot this? On the other hand, the rockets are guided. Well, I mean, you made a good point. These missiles, ATACMS missiles, they are precise strike missiles, and they may miss target for like, I don't know exact number, but I guess no more than a couple of meters. While airfield, and there is airfield, of course, there are many airfields in Crimea, and closest airfield to that part of the Sevastopol's coastline. Closest airfield is in about 7 kilometers away, if not more, like at least 5 to 7, let's say this way, if not more. So, and I'm quite sure there's some other stuff also around. So, I mean, I don't think you can justify this strike on not you personally, but I don't think someone can justify this strike on beach and then said that, you know what, they were targeting some other stuff, but they just, something happened there, and there was not intentional or something. It was intentional, in my personal opinion, because we all see statements of Podolyak, isn't it? A top aide of administration of the Zelensky. And he said openly, he tweeted about it, isn't it? That there are no civilians in Crimea. This person openly tweeted that they just don't care. That they just killed civilians, including children, and injured more than 150. They just don't care, and they are open about it. And they were saying that there are no civilians, and they call these people occupiers. And can you imagine, I mean, how messed up their brains really are, because those criminals in the Kyiv regime, they are claiming that Crimea is Ukraine. So if Crimea is Ukraine, then who are Crimeans? Who are then Crimeans? With that logic, if Crimea is Ukraine, then Crimeans are Ukrainians also. That implies, isn't it? And this Podolyak, this criminal, was saying that basically these Crimeans were not civilians, they can be killed. That's attitude, by the way, and we see this attitude towards civilians every single day on the Kyiv-controlled territory. They don't care about Ukraine. They don't care about Ukrainian people. They get incredibly rich by this, by serving Western ruling class. They get unbelievably rich, by the way. Level of stealing of assets, I mean, funds that Kyiv regime is receiving it's in tens of billions at this point. Who knows, really? In billions and billions, by the way. And I mean, that's all they care, really. They get incredibly rich. They use and abuse Ukrainian society and Ukraine as a state every way possible. They continue to do so, and all they care is to please their Western masters as much as possible, so that they can somehow maintain their wealth when this conflict will end, and when they will flee Ukraine, if they will manage to do so. That's all they care at this point, I believe. Not about Ukraine, not about Ukraine citizens. Today on my Telegram I shared like 2 videos of this forceful mobilization in Ukraine. That's their approach, by the way. They are kidnapping people on the streets, man. And of course I cannot share all videos that I see every single day about this. And there are dozens of. At this point, I guess at least half of the Ukrainian army, so-called Ukrainian army, is this forcefully mobilized people that had no training, had nothing, and they want to nothing to have with this conflict. Those people don't want to be in the trenches and to be sacrificed in this proxy war against Russia that West is waging. And that's why probably many of you noticed that there are more and more reports that this unit is disobeying orders, that unit is disobeying orders. They are retreat here and there. They are no longer. Number of these forcefully mobilized people is so high at this point that Kyiv regime is struggling to control them, even with these neo-Nazi detachments that are deployed to scare these people. Just recently, by the way, like several days ago, I was watching this extremely devastating video when Ukrainian soldier made right decision to save his life and surrender. He surrendered to drone, by the way, to drone operator, and he was following drone. And unfortunately, his comrades, not his comrades necessarily, those neo-Nazi detachments that are basically blocking detachments that are killing soldiers that will retreat or will try to surrender. Unfortunately, they saw him and they targeted him. Russian soldiers with drone bring him to radio, bring him some water, and this is all on tape. And thank you regimes, these Nazi units, they targeted this person with the drone, and he was heavily wounded and just did not make it. And that's only way Kiev regime is able to control anybody at this point. Fear. So I have to do live chat and then all the questions. Yes. Sometimes I'm forgetting about it. So dear friends, if I may, I will go through some news also. Although let me check if there is the questions. By the way, of course, I prefer to be in, engaged with community, because there's so many news every day. Merlin Hudson is commenting. Oh, hello Jack. It's Jack Hudson, veteran of our community. He's just using he was blocked, so he is forced to use this this account. So in capital or Q before questions, so that I can easily see it. And dear friends, if I miss any questions, sorry about that. Question Joseph Roy is asking, did you hear anything about the reason as to why the US F-35s is constantly failing? Well, this is over-engineered planes, isn't it? Yet again, I'm no expert in aviation, but what I read, I love aviation. I love to read basically as much as I can, especially technical literature. And as far as I understand, F-35s are just over-engineered. And this is done in purpose, in my understanding, because maintenance of this over-engineered equipment, that's been F-35 or F-30, F-22 or older 5th gen plane or any let's say modern equipment. This over-engineering is allowing companies that are producing them to then make almost the similar, if not more money on the maintenance, constant maintenance of this equipment. So it's a cycle, corrupt cycle, that basically allows this military-industrial complex to make big buck. And one reason is that they are over-engineering equipment, and that equipment is failing. According to latest information that I read there on F-35s, in any given time there is only like 30-35% of these planes in combat readiness, which is extremely low number, especially if you take in account that this program already cost about 1.5 trillion to US taxpayers, and in next 10 to 15 years will cost another 1.5 to 2 trillion just the maintenance of these planes. Can you imagine how big of a scam this whole this project is? It's crazy. And that's the reason, by the way, they are over-engineering stuff and then are making additional buck on maintenance of these planes, you know. And this is a tradition for US militaries. I mean, they went this way in 50s. This is nothing new. They went in, I mean, US military industrial complex took this direction from at least 50s, when they are creating some stuff that are, instead of being simple so that it can be easily deployed on to the front line, let's say, and military personnel can easily operate with it, they go opposite way. They are over-engineering stuff, and while, let's say, Soviet approach was very different. Soviet side was simplifying as much as possible. And take a look at the battlefield right now. For example, M1A1 Abrams that US delivered to Kiev regime. It's from 80s, 90s tank. This is old tank, quite old tank. And take, for example, Russian T-72 B3, for example. T-72, more or less similar period. And the T-72 does basically are more effective than Abrams. I mean, it's just, it is what it is. T-72 may don't have a similar level of armor, but it's lighter, significantly lighter than M1 Abrams, for example. And T-72 can operate in a terrain that Abrams will never even try. Nothing to be said about Challenger, for example. And one Abrams costs like I don't know exact prices, but that one M1A1, for example, will cost probably like 4 times more than T-72. So it's all about business, really. It's all about business, and same goes for aviation. F-35, extremely most expensive project in US history, one of the most expensive, and fifth gen plane. And take a look at the Russian, for example, and it's not even a fighter, by the way. It's a bomber. F-35 is basically bomber. It's ground attack plane that disguised as a fighter, but it cannot fight. It cannot dogfight other planes. It's like 10 times worse than even F-16 when it comes to dogfight. It's a bomber. You know, no any better than F-117, first stealth plane that US had. It's just, you know, advertised, huge advertised that, you know, this is top plane, best plane, this and that, but in reality, I mean, we only 35% is operational, and there are so many catastrophes with F-35 because of the over-engineering. Every other month, something is happening with these planes. So, you know, that's my understanding. This plane is garbage, man. F-35 is garbage, in my personal opinion. It definitely don't worth its money. If it was like $20 million, then I don't know, maybe it could be used like in some ways, but yet again, when you have F-16, which is a good dogfighter and also a good bomber, then why you need a plane that is worst in every way? Some may argue that F-35 is like stealth plane, and that's advantage. I mean, nowadays, by the way, Russian planes can detect F-35 with their thermal sensors miles and miles away. So, I mean, who cares if theoretically radar that are on the planes right now are unable to detect him. Thermal detection system will see him anyways, because I mean, you cannot cool down plane so much so that it will not make a difference with the atmosphere. It's gonna be always significantly hotter, isn't it? No matter what kind of coating you have, and no matter what kind of engine you have. And when it comes to, for example, air-to-air combat, if let's say Russian Su-35 sees a US F-35, I mean, F-35 is finished. Best decision pilot of F-35 can make is to just eject straight away once he is detected, because he cannot dogfight. Not Russian planes, not any other plane, by the way. They are not dogfighters, they are bombers. Extremely expensive bombers, by the way. Russian Su-24 does approximately same job, by the way. And the Su-24, I'm not even talking about Su-34, latest generations. I'm talking about old Soviet era Su-24. It's also fighter bomber theoretically, but it cannot fight dogfights. Su-24 theoretically can carry air-to-air missiles, but they are not dogfighters. They are bombers. Same as F-35. I mean, experts, military experts in community, they may disagree. First of all, because still F-35 is a stealth, but with the modern radar systems, with the modern thermal detection systems, I don't think this stealth technology worth much really anymore. Let's go through some questions. Just do this is commenting NATO trolls in the chat. Really? Oh, they welcome, as long as they are acting appropriately. I mean, I have no issue with that. But if anyone will insult anybody, then well, that's no. Jerry Elliott is commenting Scotland stands with Ukraine. Well, maybe you, Jerry. Maybe you, but I don't know about Scotland. Scotland is big and diverse. And many opinions will be about all this situation. And more people are informed, more away from this Kyiv regime they will stay. They will definitely not support those criminals. It all depends how informed you are. If you are only receiving information from Western propaganda outlets, from BBC and that kind of crap, I mean, then you are just not just poorly informed. You are not informed at all. You just don't know nothing. And in that case, well, you may support the regime, of course, and you may see Zelensky as I mean, most democratic Democrat leader of the world, but in reality, I mean, situation is very different. Anyways, dear friends, I don't see question for now, and therefore, if I may, I will go through some news. And of course, by the way, I will first of all spoke about this phone call that happened between Lloyd Austin, head of Pentagon, and Russian defense minister, new Russian defense minister. It happened yesterday. And by the way, this is interesting. I wanted to talk about this, and maybe you will share your opinion. What was going on? Why Lloyd Austin called Russian colleague? And also interesting that this happened on the background of these rumors that are circulating on internet that U.S. drone was shut down over the Black Sea. Although Russian Defense Ministry said nothing like that. Pentagon did not say nothing. NATO said nothing. It's just some independent sources that were sharing this information. One of them, fighter bomber, Russian Telegram channel, fighter bomber, that U.S. drone was shut down. Then, by the way, U.S. ambassador was summoned by Russian Foreign Ministry, and after that, Lloyd Austin is calling Russian colleague. What is going on there? I mean, I find it interesting. Something is definitely is happening that we don't know yet. Some sources are saying that U.S. ambassador was told that we are no longer in peace, and this is big, of course. If it's true, and Russian side really said to U.S. ambassador that we are no longer in peace, and there will be retaliations for your actions, including what happened in Crimea a few days ago, then that's definitely dangerous area to be, for sure. But for whatever reason, Lloyd Austin called, and both sides just shared some standard information with the public, that they exchange opinion about Ukraine, and Austin said that sides should maintain lines of communication, and the Russian side also said that actions of the US is dangerous and escalating, and that kind of standard stuff basically was given to public. But what really was a topic of discussion, who knows, man? Who knows? That's something is definitely going on. Nidish Kumar, hello Nidish, is asking what happens to astronauts struck in the space. Will Boeing be held accountable? Does China share information they get from a lunar sample they brought back? They will. When it comes to scientific stuff, China, they have to share. I mean, this is not a question of if, they have to. If Russian lunar probe went there and come back, Russian side will share it, because this is scientific information. This is information that should be shared by scientists. So I'm quite sure China will share information with the world community about their scientific explorations in space, including on the moon. When it comes to astronauts, US astronauts, well, that's a question really, because I would not be surprised at all if they will struggle to resolve these issues with the Starliner, isn't it? Name of that Boeing's spacecraft. So if they would not be able to resolve issues with the engines and with some other stuff, then I guess Russia had to send Soyuz, or there is always a reserve Soyuz station, spacecraft on the board of ICC, just in case. There is always one, or two maybe, but one is definitely always there. And if, for example, there are some issues with I don't know, they should have enough food supply and stuff, so those US astronauts can stay there months or two, and they will be okay. But if it's some sort of emergency and it is necessary them to be sent to Earth, then I guess SpaceX can launch its spacecraft. SpaceX also has now possibility to send astronauts on the ICC and bring them back, or Russia will do it. So then you're gonna be stuck there forever. That's for sure. But Boeing itself, and Boeing, yes, that's this company is in big trouble, by the way. And I was really happy when they finally managed to launch this spacecraft. They delayed launch for several times, and finally they launched it. And because it's about space and stuff, and I like astrophysics and I'm trying to learn when I have opportunity about these topics. I was happy, and I was thinking, well, Boeing definitely needed some good news, and unfortunately, they managed to launch it, but they are unable now to bring it back. So Boeing is in big trouble, by the way. This company is seems like this company is done. Maybe my prediction will become reality, and Boeing will be divided in several companies, so that these smaller companies will be managed in a better ways. But something definitely has to be done, because this is nonsense. What is going on with Boeing? So I see no questions. Oh, let me check here. Okay, message. So Jerry Kogan, thank you very much for your donation, and comment is, let me try Boosty again for donation. It was great to see you and Alex meeting in person. A great meeting of a honest, honorable man. From Jerry Kogan. Thank you very much, Jerry. Thank you very much. I appreciate your support, your kind words. Thank you very much. And Jack Hudson, thank you very much for donation on donation alerts. Heather, 20 years US Marine at my house today, said he supports his fellow Marines but hates our foreign policy. Said the reason US people are kept here because Unlike Vietnam, they don't see body bags coming home. Oh, that's a point. That's definitely a point. U.S. public is somewhat inert or passive when it comes to Ukrainian conflict, or maybe are not really interested because of, yes, unlike Vietnam or other conflicts, by the way. I mean, after Vietnam, US didn't really have their like large scale military confrontation with the huge losses, but yes, there are no huge casualties among US militaries, and the people don't really pay much attention to it. That makes sense for sure. So I agree with your friend. And I also understand that, I mean, he is being patriot of US, spending 2 decades of his life serving the country, serving their people. He's upset with foreign policies that cost US taxpayers, US public, trillions and trillions. I can understand why he is upset, 100%, because, I mean, yes, US is a well-developed country, no questions, but there is always something that this money can be used for, isn't it? There is always something that you can use those funds to support your own fellow citizens. And why you are giving Zelensky, for example, these hundreds of billions? Formally Zelensky will take his percentage, and the rest of it will go to other corrupt officials in Ukraine or in the West, and the majority of the funds, of course, eventually will end up in the pockets of military-industrial complex. We'll understand that, but I mean, why? When this money can be well spent in US itself? Secure border, for God's sake, for example, you know. And today I read information. I published also on Telegram that according to US law enforcement agencies, up to 400 ISIS-affiliated terrorists could cross this open border with Mexico. And the US law enforcement agencies have no idea where at least 150 of them are. You know? Why? Probably they don't have enough funds to control the border. And why? Because I don't know, Biden's White House don't really cares about it. You know? So money definitely can be well spent in US itself. And in case of European taxpayers' money that was sent to Kiev regime, I'm quite sure there are many issues in Europe that could be fixed, or at least try to fix with these billions and billions. But these politicians, I mean, they don't care. They just don't care. Daywage is asking, will Putin incite on sending Zelensky to space station permanently after a surrender? Yeah, that would be a good idea. Just send him in space and all of his criminal associates, and just forget about it. And I like that idea for sure. One-way ticket. Just give them a one-way ticket towards the sun, you know, and let the sun, deal with them. A Just Dude is commenting, US today, it's simply the same like Germany in the 30s, indoctrinated by the mainstream media and the Hollywood fantasy movies, how great their army is, what a joke. They learned nothing of World War II. Well, unfortunately, I mean, level of indoctrination and I mean, is really seems to be high. I mean, people are ideologized immensely, and what is shocking, people are indoctrinated with some really, really crazy ideas. How they manage to sell this craziness to people, I don't know. I still don't get it. I understand that propaganda is a significant force, and they can mess up with the brains of the people. But how do they manage to indoctrinate so many people in US when they start believing in some scientific nonsense and pure craziness? I don't know, man. I mean, US society definitely has some issues on its hands, because this is dangerous, you know, dangerous. It will destroy social fabric, in my understanding, and Europe is in the same trouble, really. So let's go through some news also. And by the way, of course, Julian Assange is officially a free man. Congratulations to him, his family, his friends, to everybody that was in support of him for so many years. Of course, this is a great result for in current situation. This was the best that could be achieved. I know many people are upset that he pleaded guilty when he done nothing wrong, and I can understand why people are upset. But by the way, he was basically, I mean, incarcerated in embassy for a number of years, and then in jail for another 5 years, isn't it? 5 or 6 years. I mean, he paid very heavily for his service to the world community. And there is no way I'm gonna say anything critical about him signing this agreement with DOJ. I mean, he paid very heavy price for service that he's done for all of us, you know. Of course, he done nothing wrong, obviously, and unfortunately, this precedent may be and probably will be used by US or other Western states to hunt down whistleblowers, hunt down journalists that they don't like. But with this case or without it, they will do it anyway. No, they are already doing it anyways, you know. So, you know. So it's great that Julian Assange is officially a free man. He went to these US overseas territories. There was a court hearing. He pleaded guilty, and he was freed straight away, because time that he served in UK was counted as a time served, and he is free man now. Also, I shared on my Telegram information, by the way, that Iraqi Islamic resistance group announced that they targeted Eilat, port city, with the kamikaze drones, and this video was circulating on internet. Some other videos also, but of course it's difficult to say this is drones or missiles that these groups send, or something else. When it comes to a situation in Middle East, Israel, I mean, of course, today probably you'll notice that country after country was yesterday, recommending their citizens to flee Lebanon immediately. And therefore, of course, the risk of large-scale escalation between Israel and Hezbollah is extremely high. I mean, if Netanyahu's government will authorize full-scale war with the Lebanon, most likely US will get involved, UK will get involved, some other NATO member states. At some point, other regional countries may get involved, Iran, for example, and entire region might get devastated, and world economy also, by the way. So very dangerous situations. Something is very bad is being prepared by Western ruling class and Netanyahu's government in this region. I'm afraid. Then I share these photos of their military exercises in Serbia. As many of you know, some experts, by the way, not all, but some experts are predicting that after Ukrainian crisis, next hotspot on the Eurasian political map will be Balkans. Let's hope no, but because Balkans had, I mean, Balkans went through so much tragedy, by the way, because of their Western ruling class, because how they broke up Yugoslavia. That this region definitely don't needs any escalation for sure. But still, I mean, armies are getting ready, including Serbian army. Then I share this video of massive blaze in Israel, not far away from Israeli military base. This is Jerusalem area. Yes, this is in east of Jerusalem. Let me check for questions. Sorry, dear friends, if I did not see your question. Also, let's check here and here. And also, by the way, very important news that radiation controlled post of the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant in Velikaya Znamenka was destroyed as a result of Ukrainian artillery strike. And when I read this information, I was, I mean, this is too bad, really, isn't it? This is too bad. Kyiv regime, Western masters of the Kyiv regime, they are getting desperate and they are acting more and more crazy as time goes by, almost on daily basis. And recently, I reported that, I mean, recently there is clearly noticeable intensification of the strikes towards Energodar city and Zaporozhye nuclear power plant, which is basically located in the vicinity of their Energodar. And today we received this information that just imagine, radiation control post of the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant, post that controls radiation levels in the area, was targeted by artillery. Why? Question is why? This is not military installation. This is purely civilian installation to constantly controlled levels of radiation, just in case. So why it was targeted? And I mean, I cannot know for sure, but who knows? Maybe there is some plans in the West and Kyiv to conduct massive strike on Zaporozhye nuclear power plant and create some nuclear disaster. Because once again, why they are targeting plant constantly and why they destroyed this radiation controlled post? Something is happening, by the way, and I don't know, man. Unfortunately, there is not enough protest in this world to stop this madness. Jerry Kogan is commenting. Karan Taker, I missed your question, I guess. Thank you, Jerry, for help. I will try to find it now. Or if I don't, dear friend, please in capital letters, if you can. So that I will see, like I see this question, for example, from Nidish Kumar. What happens to Gagauzia as Moldova applied for EU membership and initiated by EU? Well, Gagauzia leadership was quite clear, isn't it? Several months ago, and since then several statements were also made that if Sandu's government will move Moldova towards EU or NATO, they will declare independence. Gagauzia will declare independence. Let me show you on the map. So I guess Moldova, in my personal opinion, Moldova is destined to disappear from political map completely. Just give it 3 to 5 years, and it will undergo full-scale disintegration, in my opinion, like Ukraine will. And Gagauzia, some other parts of the Moldova, and Transnistria will separate, and maybe sometime in the future will become part of Russia, or so Moldova is here, by the way. Gagauzia is here. This area is Gagauzia, and this is Transnistria. And as it was already stated by leadership of Gagauzia, if Moldova will move towards EU, they will declare independence, and they will. I'm quite sure about it. And together with Transnistria and some other regions, because Moldova is divided, by the way. There are many people in Moldova, hundreds of thousands of people in Moldova, that consider themselves as Romanians. And they want to join Romania. And I mean, they have every right, by the way. According to UN chapters, after all, they are not just a principle of territorial integrity of the countries, but also right of self-determination of the people. So that part of society in Moldova that see themselves as Romanians and want to join Romania, they have every right on this they have every right for this opinion and to self-determination. But same goes for Gagauzia also. Same goes for Transnistria and other parts of Moldova, where majority of the public may be against becoming part of Romania or joining EU or NATO. And they will also join Gagauzia and Transnistria. So eventually, Gagauzia, Transnistria, several other areas will separate from Moldova and move towards Russia. And the rest of the Moldova will, I guess, join Romania. And there will be no Moldova as a political entity on the map to join EU separately. Whatever territories will be left once Gagauzia, Transnistria, and some other regions will declare independence from Chisinau, all those territories will just join Romania, and that's it. And Moldova used to be part of Romania, by the way, before Second World War. So that's why I'm saying that many people consider themselves Romanians, and it's okay. I mean, it's absolutely their right, isn't it? So I don't see Moldova surviving geopolitical, internal, and also geopolitical turmoil that is in this region right now. And same can be said about Ukraine, by the way. Majority of our community knows my take on Ukraine. I believe Western Ukraine will be controlled by NATO eventually, and the rest of the Ukraine will be controlled by Russia. And maybe there is slight chance, I always highlighting this, that theoretically there might be slight chance that Kiev and surrounding regions, surrounding area, by the way, just Kiev region, may maintain this name of Ukraine as a quasi-state and stay on the map. But like I'm showing always this picture, isn't it? This one, like that, for example. Here you can clearly see that vast majority of Western Ukraine is designated as a part of Poland, because it used to be part of Poland before Second World War. Also Transcarpathia designated as a part of Hungary, because it used to be part of Hungary before First World War. And also these parts of Western Ukraine, Cherkasy and Vinnytsia areas, are designated as a part of Romania, because they used to be part of Romania. I'm not quite sure about Vinnytsia region, but probably it was also. Our friends from Romania can share their opinion. And when it comes to Moldova, yes, it was also part of Romania before Second World War.
So these areas are divided this way. Kiev and the surrounding areas are, still mentioned as Ukraine, and rest of the territory, south, north, center, and east is Russia. And this map, by the way, I remind you that this map was on display on a huge monitor like few months ago when the former Russian president and current deputy chairman of the Security Council, Dmitry Medvedev, was giving his speech on the forum of Knowledge Society, if I remember correctly. There was some forum. Medvedev was giving a speech, and behind him on a huge screen, this map was on display. So it must probably mean something, I still don't understand why would Moscow allow Kiev and surrounding areas to maintain this quasi-statehood and stay on the political map. But who knows? Who knows? After all, by the way, if you watch my interview with Alex Duran, we spoke about Russian president's initiative, peace initiative, and both of us basically are on same page on a topic that Putin is serious about this proposal. So if Kiev will agree on that proposal, they will not just save tens of thousands of lives, potentially even hundreds of thousands of lives of Ukrainian citizens, but also statehood. Because under current proposal of Russian president, Kiev will recognize Russian sovereignty over the Crimea and 4 new regions, over the Sevastopol, Crimea, 4 new regions, Kherson, Zaporozhye, DPR and LPR, and conflict will basically end. There will be, of course, additional points that Kiev regime will have to meet, obviously, but it will maintain its statehood, and conflict will end. So if they will listen to Russian leader, okay, they have a chance, but I don't think Western ruling class will allow Kiev regime to take this offer from Russian side. It's just not happening, and therefore conflict will continue, and of course situation on the ground will only deteriorate for the Kiev regime and the Western ruling class. Anyways, let's continue. And Merlin Hudson, Jack Hudson, once again, thank you for donation, Jack. Aren't Carpathian mountains only thing stopping flat land from the France all the way to the Moscow? So Russia needs to protect that. Yes, Carpathian mountains are basically major natural barrier from the flatlands of the or steppe area of the modern Ukraine and Russia. That's for sure. But yet again, in my personal opinion, Putin was very serious when several months ago he spoke about Western Ukraine. He mentioned Poland in that case, that there are some people in Poland that are dreaming about reclaiming their own territories, and Moscow may have no issue with that, but Moscow will not allow its own to be taken by someone else. And I understand Putin's this statement as I read it as if decision has been already. I mean, maybe not final decision, but there is at least clear understanding in Moscow. What will happen with Ukraine if Russia's peace offers will not be taken seriously? Ukraine will be divided. And when it comes to Western Ukraine, I mean, Transcarpathia, by the way, it used to be part of Hungary. People there are Hungarians, ethnic Hungarians, and many of them have a dual citizenship of Ukraine and Hungary. and as I understand, they want to be part of Hungary. And as I said, in case of citizens of Moldova that see themselves as Romanians, and of course they have every right on that. They have every right to wanted to join Romania. Same goes for Hungarians in Transcarpathia. They used to be part of Hungary. They are Hungarians. They see themselves as a part of Hungarian world, and it only makes sense if they will join their own country instead of being this part of this failed state under the name of Ukraine, failed and absolutely artificial quasi-state that never existed in history. It's a creation of Bolsheviks, by the way. That's what it is. You know, Bolsheviks create Ukraine's Soviet Socialist Republic, and from that we have now Ukraine. And how Bolsheviks created Ukraine, Ukraine's Soviet Socialist Republic? They took Russian land and created on Russian land Ukraine. And then Stalin came, by the way, and Stalin gave to Ukraine, added some more territories to Ukraine from their Poland, from Hungary, from Romania, and then Khrushchev, by the way. Khrushchev was, I mean, crazy as hell, and he gifted to Ukraine Crimea without asking anybody anything. You know, that's what it is. And by the way, I should keep in mind that Poland received German land. It's not like Stalin just took some land from Poland. In compensation, Poland received German territories, where even nowadays, by the way, German people are living in big numbers. And if Poland will reclaim now its territory from Western Ukraine, I would not be surprised at all if people in Germany will say, you know what, Poland, okay, it's we can agree that it's just justifiable that you reclaim your historical territory that you used to control before Second World War, but now what about our territory that was given to you as a compensation? Maybe you will, you know. So there may be some tensions between Germany and Poland in the future, by the way. It's of course, if Germany will have a proper government, if Germany will have proper leadership. Current leadership, I mean, these Tutsiks, by the way, these ones, I don't see them as even German government, by the way. Formally, yes, but in reality, they are puppets of Washington, so they don't care about any Germans at all. They don't care about Germany. They don't serve Germany. They serve Washington. So it's quite complex topic, isn't it? All this reshuffle of the borders that will inevitably happen. It's already happening. So and. Kiran Thakur is commenting, my grandfather told me, never forget, you are Ruthenian, not Ukrainian, Romanian, or Ruthenian, it's Romanian or Hungarian, or Ruthenian, not Ukrainian. So I did. Yes, I mean, of course, people have to preserve their traditions, obviously. Sorry, dear friend, that I mean Ruthenian. It's I will Google it now. It's my bad. I should know. Just a sec. Ah, you are Rus. Rusi, yes. Wow, that's quite interesting. So, let me translate entirely this. I think our community will find it also interesting. So Ruthenians, according to Wikipedia, by the way, are one of the medieval Latin variations of the name of Rus. And by the way, when it comes to Rus, we all know about. Of course, I'm not historian, so I'm sharing with you my understanding of the history and what I know. So Rus people, by the way, they were Finno-Ugor people originally. That's how it's known in history, at least. And when Slavs settled in these territories of the, let's say, modern Ukraine, Kiev, surrounding areas, when Slavic people settled there in big numbers, they assimilated significant part of Rus people, also, by the way, descendants of the Scytho-Sarmatians, and they took a name, Rus. Although they took this name, Rus, and that's why there was a Kievian Rus. That was Kievian Rus, and even now, by the way, they are Rusici. They are Rus people in Ukraine. Yes, and it's great that they are maintaining their tradition and culture. It's fascinating story, of course. And well, let's read this entirely. One of the medieval Latin variations of the name of Rus, along with Russia, Russia, Roxolania. When it comes to Roxolan, these were Scytho-Sarmatians, by the way. That's when it comes very interesting. Roxolans. They used to live on those areas since the Scytho-Sarmatian civilization, and these people are not Slavics, by the way. Roxolans, they were Iranic-speaking people. In Ossetian, in modern Ossetian, by the way, Roxolan, it sounds Ruchs Alan. Its Ruchs is Светлый. Рухсалан это светлый, light Alans. You can say white Alans. So they were Alans, by the way. They were Sarmatian tribe, Roxolans. But they lived in those areas, by the way. Yes, that's for sure. And by the way, I don't know if Rus people were Finno-Ugors. Finno-Ugor people. Like in Finland, by the way, and in Estonia, for example, and in Russia right now also, by the way, in Kolsky Peninsula, in close to Finland, there Rus people, Finno-Ugor people are living until now, by the way. But when it comes to, Roxolans, I don't know, man. This is Wikipedia, so not really best source of information, but I'm not quite sure there is a really connection between Rus people and Roxolan people, because Rus people were Finno-Ugors, Roxolans, they were Sarmatians, Alans, and in Ossetian, in modern Ossetian, as I said, by the way, you can translate Ruxalan. In Ossetian, it will be Ruxalan, which means light Alan or white Alan. And because they were living in the northern latitudes, of course, there is not enough sun there. They did not have a tan, so maybe that's why they were called by others from southerner Alans, for example, Rusalans. Maybe that's the story behind it. But in any case, interesting. It's interesting, by the way. So history is so fascinating, isn't it? Really, I love history and to learn something new. So Kiran Tekor is commenting, Ruthenians, not Ukrainians, yes, Rus people, free So they had a country, yes, Zelensky, and it lead around 7-4 in Miami. For 3 days we have a country. Thank you very much, Arsene. I mean, Kiran, thank you very much for your comments. We went through some history, isn't it? There, it's interesting. And Vikings, by the way, Michael Kennedy has commented now about Viking women. Vikings were also part of all this story, of course, creation of the Kievan Rus and all of it. And as I mentioned in my previous live streams, they were Varyaks. I mean, here in Russia, and in that medieval time, they were called Varyaks. In the West, Scandinavians that went towards West, towards UK, for example, they called Vikings. But ones that went eastwards, they are called Varyaks. And their first royal family, Ruriki, they were Varyaks. They were Scandinavians, although they were creators of their Kievan Rus, they were Russian. I mean, they cannot be seen as a Scandinavian politicians or something. They were Russian politicians, maybe not right word, but so they were they were among people that were creating this foundation for their modern Russia, 100%. Vikings also. As I said, man, Russia is created in its foundation, this multiculturalism and their multi-ethnicity. That's why Russia is strong. It's built this way, and that's why I'm saying, despite all the attempts from the Western ruling class to create some internal confrontations here between different ethnicities, they're not going to succeed. They're not, because Russia is a very comfortable country to be part of for any ethnicity that lives here. Safe, secure. Russia spends an amount of money to preserve languages, to preserve culture, traditions. I mean, Russia is great for that, by the way. Take a look at the Turkey, for example. Turkey had a very different approach. They had an aggressive assimilation approach. And therefore, maybe some people still remember, like Georgians, by the way, in northern Turkey. There are millions of people, by the way, that are ethnic Georgians. They are Lazi and Chani people. That's names of the tribes. But they don't know language. They lost language and their culture that is in Georgia right now, that makes Georgia. They are ordinary Turks. I mean, they are Turkish, many of them Turkish nationalists, like Erdogan, by the way, which is who is ethnic Georgian. So there is two different approaches, isn't it? Turkey had this aggressive assimilation approach, and Russia has very different approach, very different. It's not about assimilation, it's about preservation of this uniqueness, unique culture, unique language, unique history. Let's preserve this. That's Russian approach. And that's why Russia, you cannot divide Russia, by the way. You cannot, because, because of the Russia, all these languages and all these ethnicities are basically still here, in large. I'm not saying all of it, but in large, by the way, for sure. Anyways, I just mentioned that many countries are calling for people to flee Lebanon immediately, and Canada is of course one of them. Canada, Germany, many others, by the way, many others. they know something, they know something. Maybe decision is already made in among Western ruling class, and maybe Netanyahu's government will now escalate with Hezbollah. So if I miss any questions, dear friends, sorry about it. Jerry, thank you very much. Thank you very much once again. Boosty stopped me from donating in dollars again. I'll see what happens if I try rubles. I hope I've got the exchange rate correct. Thank you very much, Jerry. I mean, recently, I mean, just like half an hour ago, your donation came through. I mean, I can see it. 842 rubles. And this donation is also came through. 421 rubles. So it will exchange anyways. There is no way I will receive dollars here. This boost is very comfortable because it will conduct this exchange automatically, and it will send a donation directly to my bank account. So I don't have to do nothing, to receive in one currency and then go to bank and exchange in another currency. Boosty will exchange in a exchange rate that is actual on a day of donation. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for your support. And Jerry is commenting, I know you don't like football, but Georgia is still beating Portugal. Really? Wow, I like football. I didn't express myself well enough during the previous updates. I used to play football when I was a kid. So I love football, and wow, news really. Georgia is beating Portugal 1-0. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. Well done. Well done. So I will be very happy if this result will stay. Or maybe Georgia will, make another goal. That will be great, of course. Nothing against Portugal, by the way, but of course I'm going to support Georgian team. So great, thank you for sharing the information. I just don't watch, Euro 2024 because of all these sporting events that West is conducting. They really are extremely politicized. They are unjust, and that's why I'm just not watching. But I love football, by the way, and I'm not gonna watch Olympics games because of the politicization of that event. But of course, I like sports. Wow, what a fantastic result, by the way. Georgia is the first time since the collapse of Soviet Union is in Euro tournament, European Championships, and I don't know if Georgia will manage to pass the group stage, but presence in the European Championship is already achievement. It's already a good achievement, and if they will beat Portugal, that will go down in history, by the way. And during the Soviet Union, Georgia had one of the best teams in the Union, Dynamo Tbilisi. And once Dynamo Tbilisi won not the Champions League, there was no Champions League then, but this another one, EU Cup or UEFA Cup. So No, Georgia has good football tradition, and football is the main sport in Georgia. Rugby also very popular, and football. Jerry Kogan is commenting, I had to try to donate on Boosty at least 6 times before it went through. Oh, sorry to hear that. Maybe platform is not working properly. But thank you very much for your support, Jerry. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And oh, it's already 1.5 hours. That oh, dear friends, I see Georgian. I forgot about it. Let me find it now. One of the members of our community write comment in Georgian. Where is it? I just lost it, Oh, I find it. Arkane eclectic Salamik Anadidan Levan Shudobada Sugarulizmao. Urmesi madloba mertba gagimajot. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. In Georgian, some good kind words and good wishes from Canada in Georgian. Thank you very much. So and dear friends, you hear some Georgian also now. That's why I'm saying this is not strictly news update. It's community chat. It's a community chat, and I see members of our community exchanging opinions, and I just love it. It's great. And dear friends, oh, of course, then I shared this video interview with Alex Cristoforo, and as I said in the beginning of the stream, what a legend Alex really is. Great person, absolutely. And I'm really grateful for time that he devoted to make this video. And then we spoke after we recorded video. We spoke about some different topics for some time. What a legend, really. And also, by the way, many of you already know, I believe that outgoing Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte will be NATO Secretary General of the NATO. And also, I watched her before I start this stream. I was watching Alex Cristoforo's update, and he shared information that Kaja Kallas probably will be on the place of Josep Borrell. So can you imagine, dear friends, Kaja Kallas, this extreme Russophobe, will be top diplomat of the EU. I mean, that's gonna be something, man. That's gonna be something. European Union is definitely on a self-destruction mode, because this is just crazy, man. This is crazy. And then I shared this video about transfer of military equipment by Israel towards its border with Lebanon. Some Merkava 4 tanks here, some personal carriers. And this is also interesting that US Air Force has sacked the head of the Sentinel intercontinental missile project due to loss of confidence. Bloomberg reported on this program already $131 billion have been spent. Can you imagine? 131 billions already been spent. In May, the US commander voiced concern over the delays in the missile program. There is apprehensions surfaced that 37%. There was 37% surge in the project's cost, which has now reached 131 billion US dollars. So 131 billion missile is not ready, and this missile is supposed to be deployed instead of Trident 3 missiles that US is operating right now. And Trident missiles are basically this submarine based. This is naval missiles. and they want the Sentinel ones, but they are clearly not ready. And if top manager is sacked, then I guess delay will be another couple of years at least. And when these billions and billions went? Interesting question, isn't it? It's like F-35. Like $1.5 trillion was spent on a project, and only 35% of the planes are combat ready. It's crazy. And maintenance of those planes will cost her even more money in next 10 to 15, 20 years. And same stuff, by the way, that they are just stealing billions and billions from US taxpayers. Because can you imagine, 131 billion, where is the missiles, for God's sake? Where is the missiles? There is none, you know? So, I mean, this is also crazy news, dear friends. Denmark is moving ahead with the world's first carbon tax on agriculture, with cattle farmers set to charge almost €100 a year for their greenhouse gas emissions from each of their cows. Can you imagine? Brussels wants to destroy farmers also. I mean, all of them, because €100 on a cow. That means if there is a farm that has like 100, 150 cows, they have to pay like 15,000 for what? For what, for God's sake, man? You know, for providing people with milk and butter and meat. For, you know, milk products and also meat when you know, cow is retired, for example. This is crazy, though. This is crazy, man. These bureaucrats will destroy Europe. I mean, if people will not wake up, they're gonna destroy Europe, man. They are definitely on this path to destroy European economy, social fabric, to destroy everything. And this is videos that I was talking about. Just look at this. Representatives of this criminal regime in Kiev find another potential tanker for Abrams. I mean, they are grabbing people on the streets, and every day there's so many videos like that. So many videos. You know. This is a lawyer of the Assange, and she said that her decision, fact that Assange was forced basically to plead guilty, is a criminalization of the journalism, according to his lawyer, and she is absolutely correct. She is absolutely correct. She criticized this, DOJ, the pre-shoot of the WikiLeaks co-founder. And in Kenya, by the way, some big trouble is happening. Kenyan president rejects a tax bill that sparked deadly riots. And unfortunately, people were killed in Nairobi as a result of these clashes between protesters and law enforcement agencies. Although, as Alex Christoforou mentioned in his update, I'm not quite sure that it's just about taxes, really. Did people reacted on taxes this strongly, or maybe something else is happening there? I don't know. But unfortunately, people died in Kenya as a result of these disturbances. And this is also, by the way, important news, very strange news, tragic news, and a very strange one. In Kiev, body of the attaché from US Embassy was found at the Hilton Hotel. This was reported today. So yesterday around 11 a.m., the body of the attaché from the US Embassy was found in a hotel room. No signs of violence were found on the body. The man arrived in Ukraine on June 15th. So this person, according to medical records provided by the US Embassy, the man suffered from high cholesterol level. Source in law enforcement told the Ukrainian publication Strana. Very strange story, isn't it? Recently, about months ago, there was another report that a member of U.S. Embassy staff was found dead in Ukraine. Now this story, and I wonder, maybe CIA is taking out people that asking too much questions. This, especially ones that are newly appointed, because this person arrived 10 days ago, and yesterday he was found dead. Very strange story. Very strange story. Maybe he was on something. Maybe he was investigating something, and CIA and SBU, these local terrorists of the Kyiv regime, maybe they take him out. Very strange story. Report also that Russia's oil and gas revenues to shoot up 50% in June, according to Reuters. Moscow has once again shown ability to absorb sanctions, according to Reuters, after figures shown expected 50% spike in oil and gas revenues year-on-year term to $9.4 billion in June. So this month on gas and oil, Russian federal budget will make 9.4 billion. Sorry. Well, not bad. Not bad. let's be honest. Just on gas and oil, budget is receiving 9 billion a month. Good results. Good results. Kremlin's budget forecast predicts federal revenues of 113 billion from the oil and gas in 2024, which would represent a rise of 21% from the last year, when their economy grew 3.6%. So, well, impressive results. And as I said many times, EU bureaucracy is shooting itself in the feet with these sanctions and all that craziness. They are destroying EU economy, and I wonder why societies in Europe majority of the societies in Europe are still not realizing this, or not protesting these crazy policies. I just don't understand. It's so obvious, isn't it? You don't have to be like top economist in this world to understand that something is wrong there. Every single day there are some reports that about decision-making process in Brussels that will harm EU member states' economies, EU member state citizens, their fundamental interests, and seems like, with the exception of few well-informed people, well-informed minority, seems like no one really cares. Majority just don't cares. I find it really very strange. And this is information that I spoke about earlier. 400 migrants smuggled into US by ISIS affiliated network identified. The US Department of Homeland Security has identified over 400 migrants brought to the US by ISIS affiliating smuggling network, while more than 50 remain unaccounted for. Over 150 have been arrested, while the customs enforcement is seeking to arrest more on immigration charges. So yes, border is open. People are crossing up and down like it's nothing, like it's highway. So can anyone be surprised to hear that ISIS is operating on these smuggling routes like it's nothing? No surprises at all, really. And by the way, very interesting news here, that Russia is ready to follow their path of the restoration of diplomatic relations with Georgia and support such initiatives of Tbilisi. Russian Foreign Minister spokeswoman Maria Zakharova stated. So, by the way, recently there was rumors, isn't it? I spoke about it in one of the updates, that maybe Tbilisi and Moscow are in talks to restore diplomatic ties. And of course, that would be great. That would be a big step forward. That will definitely help both sides to more in a better ways manage some issues that two sides have. I mean, it will help to resolve some issues that two sides have, and there are no issues that cannot be resolved, by the way. With hard diplomatic work, I believe even very, very difficult directions can be managed. So let's see. Maybe in relatively short time, diplomatic relationships will be restored between Russia and Georgia. Then I shared information about progress of Russian special military operation from Russian Defense Ministry. And by the way, probably many of you noticed that for quite some time now, daily casualty numbers on part of Kyiv regime is even higher than before. It's like 1,500 to 2,000 military personnel every single day. Immense casualty numbers, and I mean, I really don't understand how it's even possible that Kyiv regime is managing to sustain such heavy losses. Unbelievable. But losses are, I mean, immense on according to Russian Defense Minister's report. I mean, we can take this information with a pinch of salt, but many experts, by the way, Russian, Western, they are on the same page that Russian Defense Minister's reports are much more reliable than anything else up there. So, and Russian Defense Ministry is clearly very conservative in its work, in its reportings, and we see that constantly, every day, every other day. There were so many times when we all know that this settlement or that settlement become under full Russian control, but Russian Defense Ministry is not reporting about it straight away. It may take day, 2, 3, sometimes a week, and only then Russian Defense Ministry is reporting that this settlement was liberated or another one. So it is very conservative in its statements, in its estimations, always. Then I shared video from Duran, from Alexander Mercouris, host of Duran, of course. And this is, I mean, just look at this, by the way. This is Chisovyar and strikes with TOS-1A Soltsypyok heavy flamethrower systems. As I said earlier in this program, I mean, extremely devastating weapon systems these TOS-1As are. And there are newer versions, third generation of these weapon systems that have even longer range. I mean, yes, it's the scary stuff, by the way. It's thermobaric warheads. They are exploding, and there is nowhere to hide from these weapons. I mean, it's terrifying. Then I shared a video from Duran about attempt of the West about terrorist activity that happened in Dagestan. That's topic that was discussed in this video. And by the way, I get feeling that because Western ruling class tried political pressure, economical pressures, the sanction wars, and all of it, military pressure, and didn't achieve much, I'm afraid the Western ruling class is going to actively now use terrorist methods against Russia. One may argue that they already started using terrorism against Russia. And this is really, really scary stuff. Because that may clearly trigger Moscow to retaliate in a big way. For sure. If Western ruling class will start use its assets to terrorize Russian citizens, well, that definitely will be a red line that Moscow will not allow to be crossed. But seems like that's the case. I mean, they try everything, they failed, Western ruling class, and they may now resolve to terrorism. They may start using their assets to intensify terrorist attacks on Russia, unfortunately. And this is, by the way, once again, video of this mobilization in Ukraine. This is Kiev region. Just look at this. I mean, they caught someone, beat him, then he will be dragged to car, and in a few days' time, this person will be in the trenches somewhere in a Lipsy area or Volchansk, or, you know. Also, by the way, the foreign minister of Kazakhstan commented on this this prank that Vavan and Lexus, Russian prankers, did with their foreign minister of UK, David Cameron. They spoke with him as if they are Poroshenko. I mean, these guys are geniuses, man. How they are managing to do this stuff? Unbelievable, man. And this David Cameron spoke some, you know, he did said some quite interesting stuff. He revealed that Ukraine, of course, would not be invited, would not receive invitation to join NATO in upcoming summit in US. We all knew that, so there is nothing really breaking in that. But Cameron also spoke about deployment of the troops, NATO troops, into Ukraine, and seems like he was not necessarily for this. He was looking for some other ways of escalating with Moscow. And he also set up Kazakhstani foreign minister for some trouble, because Cameron said that according to Kazakhstani foreign minister, he is quite sure that, you know, Russia has some plans to do some military operation in northern Kazakhstan and that kind of stuff. Well, foreign minister himself reacted on this prank. And he basically blamed that, stated that David Cameron is involved in disinformation campaign. So Kazakh Foreign Ministry called out David Cameron for disinformation. In their conversation with their prankers Vavan and Lexus, Cameron claimed that the Kazakh counterpart Murat Nurtleo allegedly said that Ukrainians were dying for Kazakhstan and risking their lives to contain Russia. However, the head of the ministry, Murat Nurtleo, said that it never happened. There was no such conversation with Cameron. Their British minister bears full responsibility for disinformation. That was stated by foreign ministry. And I mean, there are so many attempts, isn't it, from collective West to create some tensions between Russia and just about every country. They are constantly trying to provoke, to create some disturbances. And in terms of Kazakhstan, I mean, of course, US will try to make Kazakhstan leadership, or some politicians at least, paranoid that, you know, Russia gonna invade Kazakhstan and take some territories. If Russia don't have enough territories already, why would Russia ever do that? You know, as long as Kazakhstan is not hostile to Russia, as long as Kazakhstan is not being used as a proxy against Russia, Russia will always see Kazakhstan as a friendly partner, as a friendly nation, and their strategic partner country. And Russian leadership is quite clear about it. You know, they always mention that Kazakhstan is a strategic partner for Russia. That's one direction, that West wants to destabilize Kazakhstan. And second direction is, of course, Kazakhstan is bordering China, and therefore I'm quite sure Western ruling class will use to destabilize Kazakhstan and all the other republics that are bordering China, to create on the borderline some areas like in Idlib province of Syria right now, where some terrorist training camps can be created, and then those terrorists sent into China, into Chinese northern western parts, where minorities, ethnic minorities are living, that are predominantly Muslim faith, to try to then indoctrinate these people into ideology of their extremists that they are training right now in Idlib province, by the way, in Syria. There are thousands and thousands of Uyghurs, for example, being trained in Idlib province by CIA and Turkey also, with Turkish involvement, obviously, because Turkey is in control of the Idlib province in general. And I was saying for years, by the way, that at some point West will try to destabilize these former Soviet republics in Central Asia that are bordering China, to create these uncontrollable areas where they will deploy those terrorists that they are training in Idlib province, including Uyghur representatives of the Uyghur minority from China. And therefore, I mean, if Kazakhstan has to worry about something, first of all, about these risks that Western ruling class may destroy this republic and all the others that are bordering China there. Then I shared, of course, update from Alex Christoforou. And right now, I believe military summary probably has an update. I will share military summaries update after this live stream. And by the way, unfortunately, passenger train went off rails in Russia's northern Komi Republic. At least 7 people have been injured after 9 carriages of this train went off the rails in a rural area of the Komi Republic. And according to some reports that I see, this happened because of the recent recent floods in this area. Railway was damaged. That this is preliminary information, of course. Railway was damaged, and as a result, this tragic accident. Let me update on this right now if there is any additional information. So this is RIA Novosti's latest information on this tragic accident, that several people are in very heavy medical condition after this happened. 3 people are in very heavy condition. Although there are, I mean, other reports that 7 people may be in heavy condition. So it's there is not enough information at this point, and 24 of people received some non-life-threatening injuries as a result of this. So very unfortunate, of course. And this is it. This is it. That's all that I posted today on the Telegram. And but let me once again check. Maybe there is some breaking news. Oh yes, in several countries, RIA Novosti's website have been blocked in several EU countries. Of course, many of you know, all of you know, that EU made the decision to block several Russian media outlets. RIA Novosti, I believe, also Российская газета, and maybe TASS, Известия, by the way. So yes, RIA Novosti, Известия, Российская газета, and also Voice of Europe, media outlets. And in response, Russia banned some 80 plus media outlets from European Union, among them some big names, by the way. So those media outlets, and this is the response. Russia was very clear, and I reported about it like quite a number of times before, that if Russian media will be sanctioned and Russia will retaliate, although Moscow didn't want to do this. It was very clear from Russian side. But, well, they banned Russian media outlets, Russia retaliated, and 80 plus media outlets from EU member states have been banned, among them really big names also, and they will not be able now to keep their correspondents in Russia, to report from Russia. Why? And they knew this would happen, and why those media outlets did not say anything when EU was considering to ban Russian media outlets? Why? Where is journalistic solidarity? But, I mean, they are not really journalists. I mean, in the West, by the way, if you want to find a journalist, you go in independent media, in alternative media. In the mainstream media, I doubt you will be able to find truly good journalists, objective ones. You know. And I guess this is it for today's live stream. Hopefully you will find it. Oh, dear friends, let me first of all check to make sure that I'm not gonna miss no question. So, okay. Once again, dear friends, thank you very much for your attention and support, for your comments, for your questions, and of course many thanks to all the members of our community who will watch this live stream in a recording later on. Very grateful, dear friends. You are best. Our community is the best, by the way, 100%. I read hundreds of comments, by the way, under this interview with Alex Christoforou, and I mean, you've been so kind, really. I mean, 99% of comments were very kind, very warm. I'm very grateful for this. Thank you very much. And on my part, dear friends, I will try my best to create as informative updates as I possibly can, and to constantly improve my work. I can promise that. Thank you very much. Have a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, night, whatever time is in your part of this world. Take care, and see you tomorrow. Thank you very much.